Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into a chilling case where a friend transforms into a ruthless criminal. You've likely heard the saying, with friends like these, who needs enemies? This often applies to those who pretend to be good friends, but are ready to betray, set up, deceive, and even commit crimes against you at any moment. Such vile actions often hide selfish motives, but their consequences can be shockingly unpredictable. The betrayal of a close person can be one of the most heartbreaking outcomes. The case of Sarah Stern shocked even veteran police officers with the level of cynicism and cold-bloodedness her closest friend, someone she had known since childhood and trusted, completely displayed in dealing with her. This was the friend with whom Sarah had shared her future plans and a significant secret that no one else knew. In revealing this, she effectively signed her own death warrant, as from that moment, her friend lived with the plan to make her disappear forever while ensuring he remained above suspicion. What's more shocking is that this crime could have been prevented had those around them taken the perpetrator's words and actions more seriously. The criminal even wrote out his plan on paper, framing it as a script for a horror movie. Let's dissect this complex story from the beginning to understand what could drive such a betrayal. Who was Sarah Stern? Sarah Elizabeth Stern was born on March 24, 1997, in the small town of Neptune City in Monmouth County, New Jersey. She was the only beloved child of Michael and Susan Stern. Due to health issues, Mrs. Stern couldn't have more children, so the couple poured all their love into their long-awaited daughter. Sarah grew up as an active, cheerful, and very sociable child. She performed on the school theater stage, was passionate about photography, drew well, and engaged in sports, competing on the local swim team and playing softball. She dreamed of becoming an artist or designer and was preparing to apply to a specialized college. In the autumn of 2013, tragedy struck her family. 16-year-old Sarah, who had just graduated from high school and begun college studies in the arts, lost her mother to a long battle with cancer. Though it seemed the disease was in remission several times, it returned with devastating force and ultimately took her life. This loss was a profound shock for the entire family, especially young Sarah, who was very close to her mother. For a while, she fell into a depression but tried to stay strong to support her father, with whom she lived. Together, they also cared for their dog, Buddy, whom Sarah adored. Slowly, life started to improve, and Sarah began making plans for the future, hoping to attend a prestigious national university in New York after college. She dreamed of traveling the world, with Canada as a potential destination where she hoped to live for a time. However, Michael Stern, her father, often had to travel out of state for work, sometimes for weeks at a time. He never worried about leaving Sarah alone, as she was independent and their town was considered safe. But in December 2016, during one of his business trips, tragedy struck. On December 3, 2016, at around 2:30 a.m., a call came into the police station from a concerned man reporting an abandoned car in the middle of the Belmar Bridge, along Highway 35. The area was remote, rarely trafficked at night, which made the solitary vehicle highly suspicious. The caller was a taxi driver taking a shortcut home, who noticed the empty car parked by the roadside. Suspecting the driver might have come to end their life by jumping into the water below, he alerted the police. Responding officers found the keys in the ignition, with no signs of blood or struggle, leading to the initial theory that someone might have come to the bridge intending to jump. A check on the car's registration revealed it belonged to Lily Stern, an 85-year-old local resident. Surprised to learn of her car's presence on the bridge, Lily explained she no longer drove due to poor eyesight. Instead, her 19-year-old granddaughter, Sarah, drove the car. Worried, Lily tried calling Sarah but received no answer. She then gave the officers her son's address, where Sarah lived. Upon arriving, police found Sarah's house empty, with the back door slightly open. Inside, they found her dog whining in one of the rooms. Nothing appeared disturbed, and no signs of struggle or foul play were present. However, this odd situation caused alarm. Michael Stern was notified, and he took the earliest flight back home. He confirmed that nothing in the house appeared missing or out of place, and critically, Sarah's phone, driver's license, passport, and other belongings were all left behind. Police soon discovered Sarah had spent December 2nd with her best friend, Liam McAtasney, whom she had known since childhood. Liam was the last person to see her, which led authorities to question him. When police arrived at the McAtasney residence, Liam's mother informed them that her son was sleeping after a night shift. Waking him, she relayed the news of Sarah's disappearance, and Liam expressed surprise, saying they had spent most of the day together but parted ways that evening when he left for his night shift. Liam shared details of their day, noting that they skipped a couple of college lectures, hung out at Sarah's home, played video games, and shared future plans. He mentioned Sarah's struggles after her mother's passing, describing her as deeply depressed and mentioning her thoughts about moving to Canada, as she had even exchanged some money for Canadian dollars. Preston Taylor, a former classmate and Sarah's prom date, also confirmed she had mentioned Canada and appeared emotionally distressed. Despite these statements, those closest to Sarah described her as lively and full of plans. This inconsistency raised suspicions, as Liam and Preston seemed to act overly distraught, almost performatively. Furthermore, it was discovered that Liam had accompanied Sarah on a bank visit on December 1st, where she withdrew a substantial amount of cash, which he claimed she needed for her trip to Canada. The investigation took a major turn when a friend named Anthony, who was unaware of the incident, came forward with a chilling story. Before Sarah's disappearance, Liam had shared an idea with Anthony for a horror film script about a young woman who confided in a friend about a large sum of money, only to be murdered by that friend, who would dispose of her body in a river. Horrified, Anthony approached the police, who then orchestrated a hidden camera setup to record Liam admitting his involvement. Liam confessed to Anthony that he and Preston took Sarah's money because, as he put it, the dead don't need it. Based on this evidence, police arrested Liam and Preston. Preston confessed to assisting with the crime by helping dispose of Sarah's body in the river, in return for a share of the stolen money. During the trial, the absence of Sarah's body presented a challenge, but the prosecution used multiple pieces of evidence, including Liam's recorded confession and fingerprints found on the safe where Sarah kept her money. Eventually, Liam was sentenced to life without parole, while Preston received an 18-year sentence, eligible for parole after 15 years. To this day, Sarah Stern's body has not been recovered. Her case remains a heartbreaking reminder of betrayal and loss. The danger of misplaced trust. Sarah Stern did not hesitate to open up to her closest friend, sharing her dreams, plans, and even her most valuable assets. However, this trust would become the catalyst for tragedy. Sarah's belief in Liam was not just an act of friendship, but highlighted a common vulnerability. We often easily place trust in those closest to us, regardless of their true character. Misplaced trust not only cost Sarah her life, but also demonstrated the fragility of seemingly strong relationships. By quickly offering trust without careful observation, we risk being betrayed by those we least expect. Sarah never suspected that her childhood friend would intend to seize her assets, only to realize too late that Liam had transformed from friend to foe. Calculating betrayal and exploiting trust for personal gain. Liam McAtasney did not simply betray Sarah's trust, he meticulously planned how to manipulate that trust to his advantage. From convincing her to withdraw money from the bank to crafting a horror movie plot, every action he took was part of a calculated scheme, not a sudden impulse. This cold-blooded determination revealed that Sarah's trust had been completely manipulated, turning her into an easy target in the hands of someone she thought harmless. This also underscores a bitter reality. Sometimes the most dangerous individuals are those closest to us, the ones we would never suspect. Exploiting Sarah's trust didn't just end in betrayal, it led her into life-threatening vulnerability with someone she had known since childhood. Lessons in friendship and betrayal. The tragedy of Sarah Stern reminds us of the importance of carefully evaluating those around us, even within long-standing relationships. In a world where trust can be easily exploited, everyone must know how to protect themselves and avoid sharing personal details too freely, especially without fully understanding another person's character and motives. Trust is the foundation of all relationships, but Sarah's story emphasizes that trust must be accompanied by caution and clear awareness. Sometimes listening closely and being vigilant about others' unusual behaviors can be the best protection for ourselves. The motive behind the crime: greed and the allure of wealth. Liam's primary motivation in murdering Sarah stemmed from unrestrained greed. To him, Sarah was not merely a friend, but a financial target upon discovering her inheritance. This reveals how the prospect of wealth can drastically alter a person's character. Money's seductive power transformed Liam, someone once trusted deeply by Sarah, into a calculating predator. This aspect of the story highlights how financial gain can twist even the closest of relationships. Liam, who was once considered a loyal friend, showed no hesitation in meticulously planning and executing a brutal crime to seize Sarah's assets. His shift from friend to assailant underscores a dark truth. The lure of money can awaken a person's most sinister impulses, leading them to betray and destroy even those closest to them. A calculated and inhumane crime. Liam's plan, which included scripting his crime as if it were a horror film, revealed a disturbing level of cruelty and meticulous calculation. This was no impulsive act. Instead, it was a carefully crafted scheme designed to avoid detection. His approach went beyond the ordinary, demonstrating a chilling lack of humanity and a twisted, almost clinical detachment. This behavior highlights a complete absence of empathy or remorse on Liam's part. Not only did he devise this cold-blooded plan, but he also executed it with a calm, detached demeanor. Perhaps most disturbing was his ability to play the role of a grieving friend throughout the search for Sarah, maintaining a facade of a concern even as he knew the truth. This chilling display of manipulation underscores the extent of his inhumanity, as he used his acting skills to deceive those who genuinely cared for Sarah, prolonging their suffering with his feigned grief. Liam's actions illustrate a degree of detachment that defies ordinary understanding, embodying a heartlessness that turned his crime into a twisted game where he controlled every move. Psychological impact and family loss. The death of her mother left Sarah with a profound void, amplifying her vulnerability and need for support. Struggling with the grief, she naturally turned to those closest to her, seeking solace and comfort to navigate her emotional pain. Tragically, instead of receiving genuine support, Sarah became the victim of betrayal by the friend she trusted most. This brutal exploitation of her vulnerability added another layer of cruelty to the crime, as Liam not only shattered her trust, but did so at a time when she was most defenseless. The psychological toll on Sarah's father, Michael Stern, was equally devastating. Already bearing the weight of his wife's death, Michael was thrust into an unimaginable situation as he faced the sudden disappearance of his only child. For a parent who had invested all his love and hopes in his daughter, Sarah's loss represented the complete collapse of his world. Her disappearance was not just a personal tragedy but a psychological upheaval that destroyed his family unit entirely. Michael's life, once defined by his roles as a husband and father, was now left with a void, robbing him of the stability and joy that his family had once brought him. This dual tragedy reflects a greater horror than the crime alone, the psychological devastation it wrought on a family already enduring profound loss. For Michael, the agony of not knowing the fate of his daughter and the cold, calculated betrayal by someone she trusted served as a harsh reminder of the fragility of the human psyche when confronted with the inexplicable cruelty of those they thought closest. Systemic failure and lack of vigilance. This case serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of overlooking warning signs in the behavior of those around us. Liam had openly discussed his plan under the guise of a horror film script, but this disturbing hint went unheeded by those closest to him. Had anyone taken his remarks more seriously, they might have intervened, potentially preventing the crime. The lack of attention to these signals underscores the critical role that vigilance and empathy play in identifying and addressing early signs of dangerous behavior. In hindsight, Liam's actions, his talk of a dark plot, his growing fixation on Sarah's money, and his increasingly detached demeanor were all red flags. Yet, without anyone to question or scrutinize his motives, these indicators remained unchallenged. This failure reveals a larger issue, a societal tendency to dismiss uncomfortable conversations or behaviors as harmless, without probing their deeper implications. The case emphasizes that the responsibility to prevent harm often lies in collective awareness and proactive care. By paying closer attention to the words, actions, and emotional shifts of those around us, we can foster a more protective environment, one where individuals in distress or displaying warning signs are met with concern rather than indifference. In Sarah's case, the absence of such vigilance allowed her tragedy to unfold unchecked, highlighting the critical need for early intervention and compassionate oversight in our communities. Psychological analysis of the criminal mind. The actions of Liam and Preston reveal traits often associated with antisocial or personality disorders, particularly when looking at their calculating, remorseless approach to such a heinous crime. Liam's meticulous planning and willingness to execute his plot without a hint of regret demonstrate a profound lack of empathy, a chilling indifference to the suffering he inflicted on Sarah and her family. This absence of remorse and his ability to mask his intentions while appearing outwardly normal suggest a personality capable of compartmentalizing extreme violence within an ordinary facade. Liam's behavior offers insights into the dark potential lurking within seemingly everyday individuals, serving as a reminder that a person's external persona can conceal deep-seated malice and cruelty. His calculated detachment, even when carrying out a betrayal so profound, points to a level of psychological dissonance where rational planning coexists with a moral void. Preston's role as an accomplice, despite his initial reluctance, reflects a similar disconnect, though he played a less active role. His willingness to aid in covering up the crime hints at a distorted moral compass susceptible to manipulation. This case underscores the importance of studying the development of criminal behavior in individuals who appear socially adapted. It raises questions about the triggers and circumstances that can draw out such cruelty, particularly in people who might otherwise seem benign. In exploring how seemingly normal individuals can harbor the capacity for such calculated brutality, cases like Sarah's illuminate the potential for concealed danger in familiar faces. This psychological dissection serves as a call for greater awareness and understanding of the factors that may drive individuals to suppress empathy and embrace harm without hesitation. Societal consequences and a cautionary tale. The betrayal in Sarah's story stands as a powerful cautionary tale about the dangers of misplaced trust within friendships. Liam's shocking treachery forced the public to reevaluate the nature of relationships, highlighting the need for vigilance even among those we hold closest. Blindly trusting someone without truly understanding their character can lead to devastating consequences, as seen in Sarah's case. Her story urges individuals to take a closer, more discerning look at those around them and to protect themselves from potential threats, even if they come from unexpected sources. This case also serves as a critical lesson on managing personal assets and sensitive information. Sarah's willingness to share details about her inheritance and future plans, though natural in a close friendship, tragically made her vulnerable to exploitation. The story emphasizes the importance of safeguarding valuable information, particularly regarding finances, to prevent it from becoming a target for those with malicious intentions. By valuing privacy and exercising caution in sensitive matters, individuals can better protect themselves from those who may seek to manipulate or take advantage. Ultimately, Sarah's story resonates as a societal warning. Trust, though foundational in relationships, should be tempered by awareness and prudence. In a world where betrayal can arise from even the most trusted sources, vigilance in relationships and personal security is essential, reminding us to guard our hearts and our assets carefully. The legacy of Sarah Stern's story. Sarah Stern's story concludes as a haunting reminder of the fragility of trust and the unpredictable nature of betrayal. Her tragic fate reveals the profound darkness that can hide within people we think we know best, and the devastating impact when that darkness is unleashed. While justice was ultimately served, with Liam and Preston facing the consequences of their actions, Sarah's loss left a permanent scar on those who loved her and a void in her community that will never truly heal. Her legacy serves as more than a cautionary tale. It stands as a call to action for individuals, families, and society as a whole. It calls for a deeper understanding of the signs of deception, a cautious approach to trusting others with sensitive information, and a commitment to paying attention to the behavioral cues that may signal underlying danger. It also reinforces the need to support those dealing with loss and hardship, ensuring they are surrounded by a truly caring network. The tragic story of Sarah Stern will not be forgotten. Her life and untimely death underscore the need for both personal vigilance and community compassion. It is through remembering Sarah that we can remain mindful of the complexity of human relationships, the value of empathy, and the importance of guarding against hidden threats. As her story continues to resonate, it leaves behind an indelible lesson on love, loss, and the enduring strength found in resilience.